Sanam aloha, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. And if you could put your name and where you're logging in from, and also write down your human design type, if you know your human design type, and also your zodiac sign. Okay, so that's rising sun or moon. Okay. Somebody, Gretchen's writing here. Aloha, Michael. Will you be doing a human design reading for the eclipse? Not sure yet. I'm not sure yet. But somebody requested that I do all signs. So I thought, yeah, I haven't done it in all signs in a while. But I'll let you know. So let's. Oh, it's not going to work. There we go. There we go. And I'll just get the chart up here. Right here. Where is it? Okay. I got the chart. I just want to make it a little bit bigger so everybody can see it. Okay. Apparently we're in the eclipse energy right now as of October 18th. I'm feeling it. If you're a Leo, you're really going to feel it. Okay. And then we'll get rid of this. Okay. Okay, there we go. I just want to make sure everybody can see this. So this is the new moon, October 26th. In my neck of the woods, it's at 12:40 a.m., October 26th. So it's the new moon. It's a new moon solar eclipse. So it's in the shadow. So basically eclipses are, there's lots of information out there on eclipses if you just need the general information. As you know, that I focus more on the human design transits, and to look at that because that's not really being done out there on the internet, and it's worthwhile information to explore. So basically what you need to know is they're very karmic fated events, these eclipses, and it's basically shocking, unexpected events, situations that are getting you on your path, getting you on your destiny path. So it's really important to understand whatever happens in this next week, 2 weeks, and the eclipses ripple, right, for 6 months. Life-changing things can happen. To always go to this is for a higher purpose, whatever I'm going through. It's to get, in hindsight, you'll look back and like, oh, thank God that happened to me. It really changed my life in this direction. It got me on the right path. So we'll explore how that's going to affect you in particular areas of your life. And also, there's an echo to 2004. So whatever was going on for you in 2004, to look back at that. That's a date to look back at. And another date to look at is around January 9th of 2022. What was going on around that area? That's going to be a theme that's returning. Okay, so so this is new beginnings, right? New beginnings, and we're in the eclipse season. So we're gonna start. We're gonna see it collectively, and we're gonna see it individually too. So it's in the shadow of corruption. The shadow of corruption, the gift of equilibrium and harmony. So you can see right there. It's coming off the spleen, right? This is the splenic aware. This is an awareness system, a splenic awareness system, right? So it's right there at the 50. You can see there. That's activated. And then it's coming the channel. So if this 50 and the 27, if the 27 was activated by a planet, it would join up, and then you'd see this colored in and this colored in. So this is the sacral. So this is the channel of of preservation. And this is about how we raise our children, right? The values that we pass on to our children. And let me just check something. I got to double check something here for you guys. Make sure that I have it. So the 50 is the gate of values. Where's my... the 50 is the gate of values. Right there. The 50th gate. Okay. So the fear here, right, of this gate is fear of taking responsibility. Taking responsibility. And it has to do with... the 50 and the 27 joining up together, the channel of preservation. It's also the channel of nurturing. So it's how we nurture our offspring and share values with our offspring. So it's called the channel of preservation too, as well. And that's all about preserving the species and preserving our values. So this is breaking down, obviously, because we're seeing so much corruption out in the world right now. So, and this is all with the little g, right? With the little g institutions, we're seeing all this corruption with the government, with our leaders are corrupt. So let's explore this shadow more in depth. Okay. Where do I want to start here? Okay. So we want to look at what the ego, this is the non-self in human design, or the mind or the ego. It's that voice in your head that believes that you believe it's you. It's been with you for so long, right? This is the voice that dominates most of humanity. It's alien to us. It's not our friend. It's not our ally. Don't believe New Age teachings that tell you that the ego is your friend and ally. That's the ego. That's infiltrated through New Age teachings, right? This is not you, this voice. This voice wants to destroy you in a nutshell, this ego. So this is what's being dismantled now for the Aquarian age, right? As the frequency on the planet increases, this ego can't live in those higher frequencies anymore. So now you're probably if you've been following my channel for a while, you're going to be discerning that voice. What's the voice of my soul and what's the voice of my ego? Okay, so this is the kind of talk that's going to happen through this ego when the shadow frequency starts to lift, and it's lifting for the solar plexus, or the solar eclipse, right? The solar eclipse. This corruption has to release. The shadow of corruption has to release. So this is about fear of the system. The present system that we're in, that's the root fear, right? So there's the fear of taking responsibility, and then the fear of the system itself. So what happens is the system's so corrupt, right? The ego will tell you the system is so corrupt, everybody's corrupt, there's just no hope, so just go belly up, just go into resignation and to give up, go get passive, go into a passive state. And this is feeling overwhelmed by the corruption. And some people will say, they're so corrupt, like what happened to our system? It's always been like that, but we haven't been able to see it. Now we're able to see it. These shadows have to release for this new age of Aquarius so that we can see it, right? So that's a blessing, because you can't heal anything until you see it, until you acknowledge it and not go into deny, to look it straight in the face and here it is. Okay, now we can do something about it, right? So this is the shadow, right? So the ego will tell you this, just give up, right? There's no hope. You're too little. It's too big. Everyone on the planet is corrupt, right? And complain and blame and then stay in victim consciousness, spinning your wheels. It's also feeling victimized by the ruling elite, the secret societies. That's also shadow talk. Little g, right? Little g, government. Or the shadow can work the other way. Like I'm going belly up means I'm just going to go along and get along, right? With the system. And then the other side of it is I'm going to take advantage of it. And those are the corrupt people that we see out in the world, and our leaders that are completely bought. Right? I'm going to take advantage of this present system. You can't, it's the attitude of, I can't beat him, join him, right? And this is all about getting to the top of the social ladder. It's all about power, right? And the 50s in Scorpio, right? And Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. That's all about getting more and more power. And what's getting more and more power on this planet is money, right? More and more and more money. I have more and more power. It also gets you to focus only on you and your own personal survival. Screw everybody else as long as I'm fine, right? That kind of attitude. And there's always a hidden agenda, right? With this shadow, there's always, what can I get? You know, that kind of thinking from the ego. What can I get from this situation? Where's my opportunity to grab, right? No thought or consideration from it for any other person other than your family member. And remember, family members can be an extension of the ego. The ego sees the family member as an extension of itself. So, right, it will do it for his family, but nobody else. Blood family, no one else. So you can work for or against the system. So this is exciting to have this shadow on the move, right? For the solar eclipse can bring things to you really fast, but it can take things away from you really, really fast too. To get us, humanity, on the right path. So the belief system here is about hierarchies, right? We need hierarchies to maintain order. That's what the ego said. How would we survive? There would be no order without hierarchies. We need hierarchies. We need to be governed. We need to be ruled, right? We need laws and things to also would be complete chaos. This is the shadow talk. So the other part of the shadow is overwhelmed by social responsibilities. That's that fear of responsibility right here, right? To your community, to your family even, like raising children, being a good citizen, which means being a good tribal member. Remember, leaving the cross of planning, which is all about tribal consciousness. That's coming to an end in 2027, right? All these systems are coming to an end. They're dissolving. So this is like, what do I need to do to be a good tribal member? It's the go along, the get along. It's the what I talk about, that fostering of codependency. You have to be codependent on these systems in order to survive. That's to be a good tribal. And then keep up with expectations of your social group. If you look at your social group, right? Who are you hanging around with? Where are you on the hierarchy? These are all things going, maybe you're not conscious of this. They're all going on in a subconscious level. Well, I'm at this part of the hierarchy. I'm here in the social ladder. So that means I'm better than them down there below me. And I'm lower than those people that are above me. And I'm always striving to get right up and up and up and up the social ladder so I can get more power. So, right, this is all about the hierarchy. And this goes way, way, way back, how we organized ourselves as in tribes, way back, right? When we started coming out of the caves and the trees and started living together, right? This is where all the hierarchy started. And they served us. I'm not saying that these are all bad things. They've served us, but they're coming to an end. They're not serving us anymore. And that's the corruption, right? That's a symptom of this, system that has to go. That has to go now. We're outgrowing it as a humanity. So think of your social group, right? Like, what things would you love to do? You know, they come up, maybe your intuition is giving you some information about what you would love to do, but then the mind gets in there. Well, I couldn't do that. What would my friends think? What would my social group think? Right? Especially if you're in a spiritual community, right? And you want to go do something, maybe something outrageous that's not condoned by your spiritual community, maybe going out to a bar or dancing or something like that, right? So no, I couldn't do that, right? So do you see how this is corruption? It's corrupting your authentic frequency, right? So right here, there's no room for spontaneity. There's no room for creativity. There's no room for authenticity. And I think of the people too, because there's this, the grass is greener on the other side thing, right? Attitude that people have. And there's people that are, you know, quite wealthy they're like in a golden cage. When you learn more about the culture of the rich and the wealthy, they're so controlled, right? Those people, they're compromising their authenticity for pieces of paper and wealth, and to stay within in this hierarchy. So it gets narrower and narrower, right? This golden cage. So this is what we're letting go of. So we're going to let's look at the gift here, because it's harmony, right? And this is cosmic order. We don't need to impose some kind of order from the ego and the mind, right? And corruption leads to chaos. Corruption and chaos, those are the two shadow patterns. That's the 50 and the 3 right here. So there's the 50, and then it's programming partner. Remember, there's always twins, right? There's always a connection. So the 50 and the 3, you can see the 50 is in the sun, and then the earth is the 3, 56. Oh, look, and it's the 6th line. I just noticed this. In the moon. So this is really mutative. 6 lines are all about mutation. So expect a quantum leap and whatever is going to be going on for you in the next couple months, right? But you're going to feel it now. The pressure's building. So what do we need to do here is we need to dig out our own corruption, right? So if you start to fight corruption, like I'm against the system, that's still the shadow of corruption. I'm railing against the system, or I'm taking advantage of the system, the people that are obviously corrupt, right? There's the battle taking place, but it's shadow battling shadow. What's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. It's going to maintain, because you're feeding that consciousness of corruption. The only way that we can change and go through a real revolution of humanity is we dig out our own shadow of corruption within each one of us, right? This is the power of the individual. Now, the shadow of corruption will say you've got no power as an individual, right? You just have to buy into the system. You have to submit to the system. It's what you're born. That's what my parents told me. This is just the system you were born into. I remember as a teenager asking these questions, like who decided that we would do this? Who decided that we would pay taxes? Who decided that we would get social insurance numbers like social security number in Canada? I'm asking these questions. Who decided all this? Because I had no part. I didn't agree to this. And they just said, this is just the system. They were in the shadow of corruption. It's just the way it is. You just have to accept it, right? Just to put you in victim. Get in line. Get on the hierarchy. And try to get as to the top as you can, right? That's the game that we're all playing. So we want to dig out our own shadow of corruption. And you may say, well, Michael, I'm not corrupt. We all are. If we're seeing corruption out in the world, each one of us is contributing to that consciousness, right? So we don't want to be fighting the system of corruption and judging it, right? And railing against it and trying to change it from the external, because that's not going to work. And then we don't want to go belly up either to this system, right? So how do you if we go back to the ego, this is real. Here's a hot tip for you right here. What is narcissism? That's the disease of the ego that we can see, right? That symbolizes the disease of the ego on the planet. What do you do that drives a narcissist crazy? You give them no attention. You give them absolutely no attention. And that's like giving no attention to this ego, right? So it's like with the system, don't give it any attention. Don't give it any attention. I was talking to a friend the other day. Do you know Barbara Marciniak? I read her books, one or two of her books, I think, in the 90s. She's a pioneer. She's a channeler of the Palladians. Anyway, she read them years and years ago, and then she's been digging them up again. And she's been talking to me a little bit about what's in those books, and I had forgotten. And it's all about the family of light, the bringers of the dawn, if you've heard of those books. It's all about this time that we're in right now. And it's pretty amazing. And again, What did she say? This woman. It's all about evolving through the emotions. Right? There's another one. The gene keys, human design, evolutionary astrology, Kundalini yoga, meditation. All these paths are saying it's the emotional body. This is how we're evolving. This new emotional awareness, the solar plexus mutation. So it's like more validation of this is the work that we have to do right now, is emotional. It's our emotional inner child. It's our shadow work. That's the work to do now. But anyway, she said, and I looked for the quote and I couldn't find it, but I didn't have a lot of time to find the quote. But it's basically, this time is not about what you do. It's about what you don't do. And I thought that was really interesting. It's about what you don't do. So, one of the shadows, the shadow of corruption, is like, I'm just following orders. I'm just doing my job, right? That's your fault. You're following that shadow of corruption, right? This fear-based system. That's the Titanic that's going down, right? So just think of that, like the things that you refuse to do. I bet you're happy you refuse to do some of the things, especially in when 2020 came in, right? The Great Deception. Yeah, so it's what you don't do. That's what you'll be known for, what you refuse to do. So, right, it's about ignoring this system. And imagine if everybody did that. That's the only way they have power, these hierarchies, is because we're given it. We're given our power over, right? Most of humanity's given their power over because they believe that we need these hierarchies, for order. For order, else there'll be chaos. So you need to look at, where do you compromise? This is just a quick question, right, to reflect with the solar plexus, solar plexus. I'm on the solar plexus mutation. The solar eclipse. It will show you what is no longer aligned with you and your authentic self and your destiny. That means solar eclipse means something's got to go. Maybe it's gone already, but something's coming in to replace it that's more aligned with you. So where do you compromise yourself in order to fit into the hierarchy, right? Where do you believe that you're higher and better than someone else? Where do you believe that you're lower than somebody else? This is the great lie. We're all equal, right? Yes, we're diverse, and each one of us is unique, but no one is better or worse than another person. That's the big lie, right? This keeps us in separation. This is harmony, right? This is how we come into harmony, is to dig out corruption. This is the corrupt frequencies that are covering up your authentic frequencies. So the true nature of the universe is harmony and cosmic order. There's order, even though it can look crazy on the external, especially in the world right now. There's a self-organizing principle that underlies everything, right? That's at work. This frequency of love is at work, bringing us together at certain times and places, taking people away certain times and places. There's no randomness to the universe. But we have to let go of this separation. We've got to let go of that. We need to be in hierarchies. And that can be a big stretch for the ego and the mind. Well, how's that going to work? Well, nature, look at nature. It's a self-organizing principle at work, right? If one species starts to dominate the other species, something else comes in to bring harmony back to that ecosystem, right? And also with harmony, there's the needs of the individual and the group are met. So there's harmony for both, right? And this is the age of Aquarius, which is the group. And then what we always, right? Binary. We always have to look at the opposite, which is Leo. And that's the individual, the authentic self, the creative self, right? The authentic self. That needs to be firmly in place, right? You have to know yourself, basically. You have to know who you are. And then you can enter the group. Then you're self-sovereign. This is the age of self-empowerment for the cross of the sleeping phoenix coming after 2027. Then you actually empower the group. You enrich the group. You just don't fall into group ego, group think, right? So that gives us harmony for all. And then you want to emit. So emit your own authentic frequency. That's who you are, your essence, rather than being imprinted by outer frequencies, which are fear right now, right? So you want to be emitting your, like, what's authentic to me, and dig out those corrupt frequencies. Even if your little group is giving you the stink eye and they're judging you, like, you're not supposed to do that, right? In our group, nobody does that in our group. We do this. We only socialize with these kinds of people, not these kinds of people, because they're beneath us. You want to be authentic, right? And being authentic means that you got to step away from the groupthink, right? The groupthink, who are zombies. This is the joke. Most of us are so, fearful of the judgment of other people and the rejection of other people. And if you look at those other people, they don't even know who they are. They're like zombies. All they are is this conditioning, these outer frequencies that they've received that completely buried their authenticity. And you're worried about that, You might as well be worried that, the television is judging you. That's basically what it is, So we have to be our authentic self. Nothing else is going to work for the Aquarian age. You have to be you. So what comes out of this harmony, is innovation. And that's the gift of this 3, right? The programming partner right there, coming off the sacral. The 50 and the 3 are connected. That's innovation. It's innovation. It's innocence, right? That's what we need to embrace. So anything that's of this 50th shadow is getting the heave-ho in your life right now. And this is a gift. Okay, I just want to go to the quick reading I did, because this is going to be a long live stream for me, because it's 12 archetypes, right? So I want to be laser sharp here. So this is the tarot reading that I did for us before we jumped on for the solar eclipse. Okay, so what we have here is where we are now. 2 of Swords. Where's my cards? Because I like holding them. Because more comes to me when I hold them. 2 of Swords. So that is all about being indecisive. This is the duality of the mind, right? The back and forth. That's the duality of the mind. And we're not to make our decisions from our mind anymore. This is the mental awareness system that we're moving out of now and coming into this emotional awareness. And emotionality, because we hear this in the mainstream voice, the collective voice, is people are so emotional right now, and they're so sensitive. They're so easily offended. Things like that kind of talk. That's emotionality. This is completely different than emotional awareness. People who are emotional, they choose to stay in one of the emotions, right? They'll just stay there. They don't want to work through it. The emotions are a doorway or a tunnel, right? This is the emotional body. This is our evolutionary process into spirit awareness. This is unity consciousness. We all have to move through this emotional body. It's getting triggered, right? Through the solar flare activity, through just the frequency on the planet changing. That's another thing the solar eclipse brings, is a change of frequency on the planet, and it's stirring up this emotional body. So what happens with people, they stick with the ego. You see, there's the ego. They stick with the ego and they don't go fully in. They don't go fully in. And going fully in means I'm going to feel the anger. I'm going to feel the depression. I'm going to feel the fear. I'm going to feel the sadness. And then I'm going to have the release of this purification of the emotional body. So emotionality is just staying with the ego and not going in, not doing the work, right? That's emotionality. That's completely different than what I'm talking about. There's wisdom in your emotions, but you've got to listen to them, right? You have to listen to them and you've got to feel them. So right now we're feeling our way through life. We're not thinking our way through life. This is how we're going to evolve, right? So where are we in this reading? Is the mind. Stuck in the mind, still trying to figure things out. And good luck with trying to figure things out in an eclipse season, right? It's like, it's random, out of nowhere. You've got no control at all of this energy. It's too powerful. So you may be in this right now, the back and forth. Should I do this? Should I do that? Back, maybe this, maybe that, doing my pros and cons list, trying to think my way through life the old way. And that keeps you stuck back and forth because it keeps you in the mind, right? So there can be a blind, look at that, there can be a blind avoidance, because usually the traditional Two of Swords deck, she's got a blindfold around her, but she can take it off. She's choosing not to see. She's choosing not to see. She knows where, the Two of Swords knows. If you drop into this, your feelings, which is going to be fear, it's always going to bring up fear. Whenever we're doing our soul's journey and our soul purpose, it brings up fear. That's always the sign that there's something big for you on the other side of feeling the fear, and the fear goes away. And remember, fear is it's just a frequency moving through your body. That's all it is, right? So, so the Two of Swords is keeping you from the real work, right? It's keeping you right here with the ego. Should I? Shouldn't I? Should I? Shouldn't I? Because the ego knows that that's where you got to go. Ego does not want you going through there because you evolve, right? You achieve a greater sense of awareness. You expand into your greater self. This is spirit awareness. You transcend the shadow, and the shadow turns into a gift of harmony. Right? When you're in the shadow of corruption, completely going against with your authenticity, you're in disharmony. You're in separation from creation. You're not in your power, right? So the Two of Swords is a big postponement strategy right there, keeping you indecisive. Should I, shouldn't I? And then what not to focus on right here is more swords, right? So this is looking for mental certainty, right? The Ace of Swords, because this gives you mental clarity. So don't be looking for this. The Two of Swords is looking, well, I need the guarantee through the mind. I need my mind to feel safe. I need my mind to trust. That's a waste of your energy, because the mind will never trust, because we're coming more into the eternal present moment. And the mind does not trust the present moment. It's bored with the present moment. It wants to always be somewhere else in the future, or wants to be back in the past, right? That's what it wants. It doesn't want to be in the present moment. So don't be trying to, find this mental certainty about what's going on during the solar eclipse, especially when shocks start happening, right, in your life. Things start moving away from you, right? That you have no control. The best thing for you to do, and this is what the card is saying here, the spiritual advice is the star. And what's the star? The star comes after the tower in the tarot. I'm shocked that we didn't get the 16 here, but we got the Two of Swords. But we know eclipses are like towers, tower moments. Right? That's the shocking, unexpected events. And then the star comes. So this is about, the energy is telling you to focus on faith, like faith, that this is happening for a higher purpose. It's happening for me, right? It's not happening to punish me. It's happening as a gift. It's a gift for me. It's taking these things away because they're no aligned with me anymore. I'm growing, right? I'm growing into this spirit awareness. I'm evolving, right? And some things have to go, right? So, so have faith, and it's saying there's healing here. There's deep, deep healing for you, and wishes are arriving, right? Anything you've been wishing for, it's wishing upon a star, right? She's holding the star up. Yeah, so to keep your faith in the divine and your hope, right? Don't go into pessimism, because that's where the mind is going to want to go, right? It's like, I need to understand. The mind needs to figure everything out. It's like, no, I'm having faith. I'm having faith here. So what's underneath it all is the moon, the mysterious moon. And so it is a solar eclipse in Scorpio ruled by Pluto. That's the shadow, right? So the moon represents the shadow. So there's shadow work here that's underneath. So shadows, it's saying shadows will start to be releasing beyond just the shadow of corruption, right? Because they all work together. Yes, we're working with the 50th shadow pattern here, but there's 64 of them. They're all connected, right? So this is your fears, right? Because this is all about, this is karmic, right? These eclipses. So it's going to bring up your deepest fears. That's just how it works. So you can transcend them, right? This is the lower frequency that's pulling you down, right? That's keeping you in density. You want to be transcending these shadows into the higher frequencies. So this will start releasing the moon, right? The moon is also your subconscious. It's your past lives. That starts releasing too. So you don't want to be trying to understand it with this 2 of Swords and Ace of Swords. Let it move and feel it. That's it. You got to feel it. Remember the pathway of awareness, right? We're coming back into frequency, right? The pathway of awareness, physical, mental, emotional. That's the work. And then that brings us into frequency. That's the eternal now. That's unconditional love. So we've got that. And then what was at the bottom of the deck here is the 3 of Swords, right? So this is more swords. And this is heartbreak. This is emotional pain. This is grief. This is separation. And a lot of this grief, it's like it's holy grief. Have you ever had holy grief? When you've gone through a lot, maybe you went through an intense workshop or an intense spiritual experience, or even therapy or something like that. Well, there's this grief that comes. And a lot of this grief is about being in separation or feeling that you're separate from the divine, separate from unconditional love, right? So this is bringing the heart back online, right? Opening up your heart chakra again. So it's feeling the heartbreak. And this is totally related to alcohol, right? Alcohol is a bad strategy by the ego to try to heal this 3 of Swords. And what you have to do with the 3 of Swords is to feel, right? So with the corruption, it's about coming back into harmony, and it's feeling this broken heart. And the broken heart, as I say many times, like a broken record, is this 0 to 7-year-old. That's the original wound, comes from that age group when your heart was broken at that age, right? So this is about dealing with emotional pain and shadow, and the shadows that are coming up. Okay, and then let's look at the ego card, the challenge. And this is the White Knight. This is the White Knight. So it can work both ways with the White Knight. And this is so the age of Pisces, isn't it? Looking for a savior, waiting for a miracle, waiting for the savior to come in and save me, and do all this work for me, take away all my pain without me having to feel it, take away my fears without me facing my own deepest fears, take away my shadow without, like, I want a spiritual leapfrog, I want somebody else to do it for me. So no, this is an ego trip, waiting for the savior. So there's waiting for a savior, waiting for somebody to save you from your work, your responsibility. This is the 50th, right? Taking responsibility for your own work, your own inner work. So it also works on the other side. This is the codependency. It's like, I'm going to save somebody else. I'm going to be somebody else's White Knight. I'm going to save them and help them heal their wounds. Meanwhile, I'm ignoring my own wounds. Still the White Knight. I'm either waiting for a White Knight or I want to be someone else's White Knight. And this is the cross of planning. This is what we've been taught. This is right in our tribal consciousness, right? This is the bargain. It fosters codependency. I'll save you. I'll give you security. Little G's coming out with all kinds of stuff pretty soon about we're going to save you. We'll take care of you. You just have to give us everything you own, right? You just have to get this chip so we can tell you where you can and can't go, what you can and can't eat. We'll completely control you, right? This is the white knight energy. It's not real. It's time to be self-empowered, self-sovereign for the age of Aquarius. This is the age of enlightenment, right? It's about taking your power back, right? Scorpio, solar eclipse in Scorpio. It's taking your power back. So this is trying to do someone's God's job. Like if you want to be somebody's white knight, you know, oh, they can't survive without me. That's a big lie by the ego. And it puts you into sacrifice, like the lower frequency of sacrifice, which is sacrificing your authenticity for someone else, for another person, right? And there's a payoff. Always with the ego, there's a payoff. And I'm going to keep the focus off my own pain. And let's take it to the touchdown. Let's take it right to the root. I like going right to the root. Let's not waste any time. 0 to 7 years old, that little tiny tot from 0 to 7 years old wanted to save her father or save her mother or her siblings. That's where this comes from, right? So this is why we attract these people, the poor little victims. They seem like they need so much help and care, and I can only save them, and they'll feed into this too, because it takes two to slam dance, right, with the white knight. But it really goes back to this, that little child that wanted to be saved by their parent, right, by their caregiver, right? This is where this pain, this heartbreak is coming from. This 3 of Swords is coming from right here. So it's an avoidance of your soul purpose, right? Trying to be the white knight or waiting for somebody to white knight you. Yeah. So there's the pitfall there. And it's saying to take responsibility. That's the 50. I'm going to take responsibility for myself first. And then then I can take responsibility for others too. This is same as if you're a parent, take responsibility for yourself first, you know, and then your children, and then on and on and on. Spread it out, right? So when you do this, when you get into this gift of harmony, you're going to trust yourself more, right? Right now, if you're in the shadow of corruption and you're listening to that ego and you're compromising yourself left and right to fit into this system, completely going against your intuition and your authentic self, you're not going to trust yourself. And this takes away your power. Every time you betray yourself and betray your soul, it takes more and more of your power away, right? So when you come into harmony, this gift of harmony, and start taking responsibility for yourself, right? Start emitting your frequency of your authentic self. It's going to bring the self-trust back, right? Yeah. And this is what this is how we change the earth, right? We're all emitting this frequency out of authenticity, of harmony, and we come into harmony. But it's not going to happen the other way, right? What the mind and the ego says, you got to go and fight corruption. You got to get rid of those corrupt people. Well, more corrupt people will come in because it's an energetic, right? It's a shadow. It's like whack-a-mole. It will just come up in other forms until we deal with it individually. Okay, so that's the reading there. It's 15:15. I'm in the flow. Okay, let's look at some comments and then I'll get into the readings. 222. Okay. So, no, I'm Gabby from Vienna. Yeah, strong roots. Thank you. Strong roots for these stormy times. Hello from Kill Devil Hills. I'm a Libra, Sun, Moon, Venus, Scorpio, AC. I'm a projector still waiting for the invitation. Yep. Larissa from Portland, Oregon. Projector, Cancer, Virgo, Taurus. Luna Song, 1/3 quad right, Taurus Sun, Virgo rising. So glad to be here live. I enjoy these so much. H Sacker, Libra Sun. And then Jen Goodwin, generator. Love, generator. Oh, right, with the 6-line manifestor teen. Oh, Jen Goodwin's got the 50. Yeah, pipe up too if you've got the 50th gate. In the channel if you have the channel too. Okay. Thomas, a manifesting generator Libra from Chicago, starting to believe in my ability to manifest. This human design, yeah, it's really, really powerful. And getting out of the rut is really getting out of your mind, right? That's the trick with human design, is giving your authority over to whatever your strategy is out of your mind. That's what humility is. That's what surrender means. Love, all teachers are teaching to integrate the ego and it's your ally. It never felt right to me. No. You know what it's like? I always go back to the Lord of the Rings is so brilliant. If you've never watched, I've watched it quite a few times now, the whole series. You got to watch it from the start. One time it's like, well, I'm going to go right to the Return of the King because that's my favorite one. Wasn't the same. It's just like life. You got to go through the struggle with them. All right, with Frodo and the gang, right? You got to go through the struggle with them, and then you really appreciate Return of the King. Anyway, with Schmangel, right? Gollum, remember? And he's got the ring, right? And he's about to throw it in. It's like, finally, it's going to be over, right? And Frodo's like, he's going to finally throw in the ring. And there he is, right? There he is. Gollum, right? Fighting still for that ring. That's like the ego, right? Gollum. It's like, yeah, the ego will only take you so far. The ego will be like, yeah, let's get up. Let's do sadhana. Okay, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's go to this workshop. Let's do this shadow work. But then when it comes to the very end where it has to completely surrender, then it's like, no. It's like Gollum, right? Like, no, I'm not going. Right? I'm not going. So in that way, it's not your friend, right? It wants to destroy you. That's the best way to look at it. And a lot of these people that are identified with their ego, they have no idea what it would be like to exist. They don't think that they can exist without, and this is a hierarchy in itself, right? To keep the ego. The ego is all about hierarchy. They can't imagine living in these states, these mental states of awareness where there's no mind and there's no ego. But we can survive just fine without that. You know? Yeah. And then we're in the mind of God then. Yeah. Oh, that's good. So CV Ricks, generator from Southern Cal. Gemini, Sun, my Pisces Moon, Sag, Cap rising. Great. Love, I'm feeling overwhelmed by the corruption, especially this week. Yeah. Well, and we're going to see more. The good news, too, I want to say, is we're going to see it, right? So brace yourself. We're going to see more and more corruption because they're out in the open now. They don't even try to hide it anymore, right? It's just like, this is who we are. We're the mafia, so get over it. Right? Get in line. You got no power. But now Saturn is going direct tomorrow. Remember? So if you haven't watched my video, watch that last video I did from the live stream about Saturn going direct. There it is there. This means that because Saturn rules Capricorn and Capricorn's little g and all these institutions, that it's going to come more back into balance. Like power has to be equal. This is harmony, right? People, we have the people power. We've been out of our power. We're taking our power back. So things will start coming more into harmony. And so this overreach, that has to come into balance, you know? So you have to look at it as one consciousness, right? Humanity is one consciousness. We're one human organism. So it doesn't serve to be blaming. It's this person, that person, that person. They're just playing a role for that frequency. Somebody's got to play the bad guy. I'm glad I don't have to play the bad guy in this lifetime, but somebody has to, right? What would be considered taking advantage of the system? I would see this as a good thing. No. It would be like the legal system. Like, right away I think of Epstein, right? If people know the Jeffrey Epstein story, and Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Who went to a court of law. There was no footage of her. There wasn't even a mugshot of her, right? There's just artist sketches of her, and then she's whisked off. She's charged with human trafficking, and there's nobody that on the other side. There's nobody. There's usually like, well, here's the John, right? that purchased these girls, these prostitutes or whatever, right? If in a prostitution's case, well, there's nobody there. It's just her. She goes off just for human trafficking. That would be an example of taking advantage of the system, right? There's rules for me. There's rules for you, the little people. Things like that. And it always gets back to you, like taking advantage of the system, of trying to cheat the system to get something back from the system is completely different than I'm just going to ignore the system. I'm not going to give any attention to it. You know, I'm going to benefit from this system. Right? We see this with a lot of wealthy. Yeah, the straw man, exactly. Yeah, okay. But that's more corruption. I'm going to take advantage of the system. You can't beat them, join them. I'm going to take advantage of it. That's still the shadow of corruption. It's just a different expression of it. Okay, so let's go to the zodiac signs. There we are there. I want to have my water. More water. Okay. And let's go here. Okay, I'll get back to some of the comments later. Laughing at them. Okay. So we're doing... Okay. Right on. I haven't done an all signs in a while. I've got my astrology wheel here. It's in Scorpio. And then just get my cards. Okay. So I heard Pisces moon there. Somebody has Pisces moon. And let's see here. 12, 11, 10, 9. In the 9th house. So the solar eclipse is happening for Pisces, sun, moon, or rising in the 9th house. So that's all about your worldview. Okay? How you perceive the world. It's also about your belief systems. So what can happen with the solar plexus, or the solar eclipse, new moon, is this is when suddenly a belief system that's been driving you, right, for your whole life, suddenly gets taken away. Suddenly you start to view the world in a more expanded way, right, with this. So removing any corruption, so frequencies that are corrupt within you, that's informed how you perceive the world. Right, so it's in the ninth house, so that's higher education's Pisces. So you could, maybe you were brought up with the belief system, well, if I follow the rules and I go to school and I go to high school, I get my diploma, and then I go to university or college and I get my degree, and then I'm educated, and then I go and I get a really good job, right? And a secure job, and I'm paid well, right? And life's all rainbows and unicorns, right? And suddenly your belief system starts to change. Oh, that's not true. That's not how I'm perceiving the world right now. So that would be an example of corruption, the shadow of corruption. Also looking at man's law, like I just said, man's law is very fickle. There's divine law, that's the higher frequency of the ninth house is divine law. That never changes, divine law, natural law. Like we're all equal in the eyes of the divine, right? But then man's laws, well, some of us are more equal than others, right? That's from Animal Farm, George Orwell. So you may be questioning that too, the legal system. Higher education, you could be questioning how you view the world, how you've been limiting yourself. Okay, and let's do some cards just to fill out the story here. The ninth house too in ancient times is the father. Like ancient astrology is the father. Okay. Pisces got 3. So let's do here. And let's do the ego card. So it's the 7 of Pentacles is one of the cards for you, 7 of Pentacles. And this is how you're just, your viewpoint, this is how you're investing. You're looking like, what seeds am I going to plant for the future? And right now, I mean, it's difficult to see the future because there's so much change happening. It's like the fog, you know, when the fog comes down and you can't really see. That's what it's been like since 2020. There's just a lot of fog and it's hard to see the far future. That would be the ninth house, is the far off future, the elevated future. Is that could be coming to an end. The way that you've been investing and the way that you've been believing what the world is, right? How you see the world is ending. That's ending. That's what this is saying. It's an ending. So the solar plexus, or the solar eclipse is going to open up your point of view. It's going to open up your point of view. And this is going to happen really, really fast, right? So this can also be connected to spiritual teachings too. That maybe you're outgrowing a spiritual teaching, a philosophy that you've abided by for a long time. The 7 of Pentacles there. Okay, Pisces. And the advice is just to go with it, right? Just go with the flow with this. These changes. Okay. So the ego trap here is needing to win. Needing to win. This is I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. So this can hold you back from allowing this expanded viewpoint to happen for you, right? This new way of seeing the world, these new beliefs to come in, right? So this is what we're faced with, especially when the people around us are not changing and shifting with us. Not everybody's on this ride, right? Not everybody's on this ride in this lifetime. That you can get challenged, right? Challenged in terms of these new belief systems that you're going to take on. And it's rooted in feeling powerless, right? I feel powerless. I've got to argue my point of view, right? So you don't want to be doing that. That's what the ego wants you. And the thing is, when we go through huge changes, especially when it's just the beginning, like, oh, I've gone through, when you wake up the next day or a week or something and you haven't seen people that are familiar to you, like family members or friends in a long time, it's best to just keep it inside, the changes inside, right? Until you're solid in the change, until you've completely integrated these changes inside you. And then when you feel strong enough, then share with other people. But don't be looking for validation, right, from other people to validate your point of view, right? Because this is the ego's ploy to start doubting yourself, doubting the changes, right? But this is big. This is awakening. The 13 is all about awakening. In the ninth house is religious. It's religion. But it's big, huge changes in your belief systems, right? Our belief systems can completely drive all the decisions we make in our life. Yeah. And this is saying that it's quick change. It's going to be very, really, really quick. Yeah. And the thing, what I want to say is, and I've said this before, that nobody can argue away your experience. If you keep the changes in your mind, right, in that Two of Swords energy, right here, if we go back to the overall reading, if you keep the changes here and you're doubting, like, why don't I believe this anymore? And like trying to go back to the past, right? That it needs to be integrated. That's what I'm trying to say, is it needs to be integrated. And that means bringing it through the emotional body, right? Bringing it through the emotional body and these belief systems and feeling what it feels like. Oh my God, I believed this for so long. I'm going to admit that I was wrong. I'm going to admit that I made a mistake. Like someone commented today on the meme that I put on the YouTube, my YouTube community posting thing. And it was about what's the stupidest thing I did what's the craziest thing I did for money. And it was go to university, right? This ninth house. And she said, yeah, I fell for it too, right? But the ego's not going to let you do that, right? The ego would rather be right, right? Than admit that you made a mistake. So that's what I would watch, Pisces. It's like just to be humble. Humbling means putting the ego aside and being in truth and authentic. And it's like, yeah, I believed this for a long time. I bought into the propaganda. But now I see the light. I see the truth. Now I've got a new belief systems, and then let that go. And then this won't come in. This ego trap won't come in, right? That I need to fight. I need to be right. They need to be wrong, right? That all this does is feed the ego. So that's what I see there. And just to roll with it. Right? You can be very, very shocked at what goes away, what you learn. And these shocks can happen in different ways. Because once you see the truth, it's really difficult to unsee it. It's difficult to unsee the truth. But then the truth is the only thing that's real. That's the only thing that's going to be left standing in the Aquarian age is the truth. Right? I prefer to see the truth. Like, here's the truth, no matter how painful it is to look at. But now I can work with this because it's real. It's not lies and it's not delusion. It's not deception. Yeah. So corruption around your belief system, that's what I see. Corruption around the way you're seeing the world right now is going to change radically. Okay. And isn't that a good thing? Like things that you used to believe in. We used to believe in Santa Claus, right? Maybe some of you out there still believe in Santa Claus when we were kids. And then we grow out of that. There's things that we used to believe in that we don't believe in anymore because we keep growing and evolving, even as children, right? To adulthood. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to Aquarius. Let's go to Aquarius. Okay, so Aquarius, sun, rising, or moon is going to be in the 10th house, right? 12, 11, 10, yeah. So that's your career. So, Aquarius, you could be having some big changes around your soul purpose, your career. Maybe leaving a career. New careers coming to you. So this is things like suddenly getting fired, or suddenly somebody doesn't come through with a contract for you that you were counting on. That's when you got to go into surrender, right? I'm just going to surrender. That means that was no longer in alignment with my soul destiny, and there's something else that's coming. And it will come fast, right? Because this is the solar eclipse. Something around your father too, Aquarius. Your reputation. Maybe you'll see corruption in your workplace, right, in your career. And you'll have to make a choice. And always take the high road, right? You want to do what's right with that 50. Because the 10th house, that's little g. The 10th house. Traditional ruler is Capricorn. Oh, and that's interesting too, because it's the age of Aquarius, so this would be a collective thing too, is seeing corruption in our leaders. And what are we going to do? I mean, that's the greatest pain, they say, is discovering what was once true is no longer true. That can be a great pain for us as humans. Especially for the ones that it's going to be such a shock to, you know? Okay. Let's see what the ego is saying. So you got the 2 of Wands, Aquarius. So this is about future planning and decision. So it's saying you got a decision to make around your career. And it takes great strength to leave something that's corrupt. If it's corrupt, it's dying. Right? And to trust and to have faith that something better is coming for you. Standing by your values and your principles, Aquarius. So let's see what the ego is telling Aquarius. I jumped out quick. Okay. So this fits a bit with the White Knight. The 2 of Wands. This is the Chaser. It's called the Chaser. This is like a codependent card. It's part of the twin flame dynamic too, the runner and the chaser. So, but let's read it because it's the 10th house here. So this is letting go of a belief system that you need another person to survive. So another person meaning little g, needing little g. How will I survive without little g, without all the structures in place and my social security and, you know, what other perks that little g is going to be rolling out for people, right? I need that person. I need little g to survive, right? Not believing in yourself. So, right, the 2s are making about making choices, right? Going back and forth. And this is about future planning, making decisions. But the great thing about the solar eclipse is the decision's kind of made for you, you know? It's made for you. So you don't want to go into denial. And you don't want to be looking to other people. You don't want to be looking to a savior, Aquarius. From there, right? You don't want to be looking for that white knight. The ego is telling you you need that person. You need that white knight to save you. You need little g. You need those institutions. What will you do? What will you do without little g? Well, then you got big G. That's all this. This is the big test right now. Are you going to be in faith? Are you going to have faith in big G or faith in little g? Faith in little g is faith in the ego, basically. Right? That's what faith in little g is. So you want to put your full faith in big G. And big G inside, not religious big G, but big G that lives inside you. Right? You dwell in God. God, me, and God are one. So don't listen to the ego that you got to compromise. This is what the chaser is. I got to compromise. I need that other person to survive. I need those institutions to survive. I'm going to make my decisions from an empowered place. This is corruption. It's not real, right? It's not real. Yeah. And you've got Saturn in the first house too. I'm just looking here. You've got Saturn in the first house. So this is you maturing. This is you totally maturing and growing up, Aquarius. Yeah. Right? And we're letting go of this cross of the planning, this tribal consciousness that's taught us that we need these support systems outside of ourselves. We just need ourselves. We need our own divinity. That's what we need, our higher self. Yeah. So you want to be making your decisions from this. And maybe this is why this is going to happen. Solar eclipse is going to take away this, whoever you're giving your power over to. It's going to take that away. It's going to show you not to count on this. And that's why we're seeing all the corruption in little g. Little g is letting everybody know, don't be counting on us to be taking care of you. We don't give a shit about you. You know, we want to use you, basically. We want to harvest your energy. We want to use you. And the message is getting louder and louder and louder. So people have to be blind. They've got to be in the two. It's the two of swords, right? She's usually blinded. She's got a blindfold on that she refuses. Blind avoidance of the truth, right? And the great thing about the divine, putting your faith in the divine, as soon as you make that leap of faith, I mean, the divine's right there to support you. I can testify to that 100%. Many, many times the divine has come through for me. But I had to make that leap of faith into the void, right? Into the unknown. So that's what Aquarius has to do. That's what the collective has to do. We're going to see that with the collective. And making future plans, taking time to make future plans, not relying on these systems because they're going down. Mm-hmm. And also just to bring it to the emotional Aquarius, right? Because we're healing through the emotional body, is to go back here, right? That's where the pain is really coming from. That's the origins of the pain. I need that other person to save me. Because you didn't have that when you were a little child. And the little child is the inside you never grows up, right? The child in us never grows up. So when you're feeling fearful, it's the child that's calling you, right? So in order for you to feel at peace, because we all want to feel at peace, it means this little inner child has to feel at peace. Until we deal with our inner child, we'll never feel at peace, right? So this is where this chaser energy is coming from. You know, it's abandonment stuff. Yeah. Okay, so that's for Aquarius. When in doubt, go to your emotions. When in doubt, that's my hot tip. Okay. Okay. So We're going for the Capricorns. The goats. And I heard a couple Capricorns bleating on the chat. Do goats bleat? Do they bleat? Is that what you call them? They bleat. Okay. So Capricorn. Capricorn, the solar eclipse is happening in your 11th house. That's all about your friends. So you're going to have some of your friends are going to get the heave-ho that are no longer aligned with you, your little social group. And remember that we become the 5 people that we hang out with the most. We become those people. Our friends can have a huge influence on us. So my sense is that some friends are going. So you may have a big row, like a falling out with your friends, or your friends move away, or something happens where they're just removed. They're removed out of your life. Doesn't mean they're bad and horrible. They served, right? You both had a soul contract together. They served their end of the bargain, whatever that was. You served your end of the bargain. Now it's time to allow room and a space for new friends that are aligned with your soul destiny. And especially if they were friends of habits. Most people have friends of habits. They don't have friends of consciousness. Habits mean they've got similar things. Like they're both that. My friend is also a parent and I'm the parent. That's all we have in common is our children go to the same school, or we both love drinking, right? We both love gossiping and shopping or whatever, right? It's really surface. You want friends of consciousness now. And the thing with the Aquarian age is all relationships are now, it's the foundation is friendship. Aquarius is the archetype of friendship. Okay, so these friends could be corrupt, right? Corrupt themselves. Okay. The Fool. That's you, Capricorn the goat, leaping across the cliff. Ready for your leap of faith, Capricorn. And this is, this goes with this, doesn't it? This faith. The spiritual advice for us all is to have faith. So this is about setting out on a new adventure, new beginnings, new friends. Old friends are going. Say goodbye to them. They're going. Right? They're not aligned with where you're going. They're not aligned with your soul's destiny. So to trust that the new ones will come in. And you know what? It's better to be alone than with the wrong people. You can feel, like I've said this before, you can feel more alone in a crowd of people that don't get you, that are not aligned with your values. You can feel more alone with them than being alone in your own apartment. Okay. And you may be feeling this already with the friends, you know, but you're in this Two of Swords energy, Capricorn. Well, I don't know. They're not that bad. I'm used to them. We've been friends for years. You know, we got nothing in common, but there's somebody to do something with, right? That I fit in with. And maybe you're compromising yourself. Maybe you're in corruption, that shadow of corruption, trying to fit in with your hierarchy, right? So corruption is believing in this hierarchy. If you have friends that think they're better than other people, you know, materialistic. Okay. The thing with Capricorn, rising sun or moon, they go through a lot of friends anyway. Wherever Scorpio rules in your chart, you go through a lot of change anyways. Okay. Capricorn. Capricorn is I know it all. And don't I know a few Capricorns in my life that have this? The ego telling them, right? There's your ego. And this could be your friends too, right? I know it all, right? Especially if you're awakening and you're really coming on your spiritual path and you're committing and you're learning, right, about your stuff, and you're learning about your shadows and your inner child work, right? And then you're trying to change your friends, and share this with your friends, and they're like, right, like, who are you? We don't talk about this kind of stuff. Let's stay on the surface. Let's chit chat. Let's have chitty chat. Let's gossip, right? Let's one up each other, like some games friends can play. And then the friend is like, yeah, I don't want to listen to this. Refusing to listen, right? And this is a sign that they're not for you anymore. If they're not open to you changing, or they're giving you the side eye because you're changing, you're dropping the script, you're evolving, you're changing. We're here to evolve and change. And they're giving you this, right? I know it all and don't try to change me. They're not for you. The thing is, we have to accept people for what they show us. That's what a lot of people do. Well, they didn't really mean that, right? That's the ego says that. They didn't really mean that to say that. They don't really mean that. This is what they really mean. It's like, no, accept them for their word and what they're telling you. Accept that, right? They're showing you who they are, and then you accept it, and then you do something, right? You do something about it. You don't stay in this Two of Swords. Should I leave this friendship? Shouldn't I? Trying to understand it, right? Fears are coming up. Maybe abandonment fears when you were a child. Maybe you didn't have a lot of friends as a child. Right? So having friends in this lifetime, it makes you look normal, at least. Oh, she's got friends, at least. Right? They're not really your friends, but in the 3D world, it looks like you got friends. Right? You look like you're normal. You look like you fit on the hierarchy somewhere, right? Yeah. So this is letting go of these friends. You want friends that are open-minded, that always want to be learning, open-minded, always wanting to be learning and growing. You don't want this know-it-all. The know-it-alls, they don't grow. They stay stuck. You phone them up 20 years later and they're in the same place, right? Like the same place spiritually. So this is also you open to new friends, and you also open to listening to support and help from new friends, right? This is humbling the ego. It's putting the ego aside, telling yourself, I don't know everything. I know that I don't know. I love that mantra. I use that on myself all the time. I know that I don't know. I know that I don't know everything. Yeah, and then there's room. That's that Saturn, remember, that with empathy. And that's with you, in your second house, is listening. What else do I want to say about that? Yeah, it's just around your friendships. And ready to go on this new journey with new friends that are open to change, that are open to the new adventure that you're going to be on, Capricorn. And just because the South Node is in there too, I just want to note, because that's what makes an eclipse, because the moon is so close to the nodes of the moon, which are very karmic. It means you're leaking energy. You've been leaking a lot of energy to these friends. Yeah. So that's the thing, when you plug up these holes, right? It's like you're the bucket of water. You're going to plug up these holes, all this energy that you've been leaking, corruption to these friends, not being your authentic self, hiding behind a mask. It's going to fill you up, Capricorn, again, right? Energetically. It's going to fill you up. Yeah. I think that's it for Capricorn. I'm not getting anything else for you guys. Okay. Let's go. Oh, I just skipped, didn't I? Did I? I don't know. Okay, let's do the overlays here. Okay. No. Sagittarius. The Centaurs. Sagittarius. Ooh, Sagittarius in the 12th house of corruption. So, some corruption around past lives. Corruption in past lives. This goes deep, right? The 12th house. And that is your ancestors. Corruption. Maybe you had some corrupt ancestors, Sagittarius. Right? The thing is, we're clearing up those corrupt frequencies through our ancestry too, right? The ancestral wounds. Corruption. Maybe you had some police, right? Police in your family that were corrupt. Sagittarius back in the day. Doing some rum running or something like that, right? On the take. You're letting that go. So the thing with the 12th house is to watch your dreams, because you'll get download Sagittarius with the 12th house there. Have your dream journal out. Write your dreams. Your dreams are going to communicate to you through the solar plexus. So this is like the miracle, right? It's angel energy, the 12th house, that just some kind of trauma will just leave. Because this can drive. This is how it works, right? We've got this ancestral memory of corruption. We can feel it. It's in our DNA, you know? And then we feel guilty. It's like, why do I feel guilty? I haven't done any. I've been a good person in this lifetime. Why do I feel so guilty? Right? Well, it's because of those memories, right, of your ancestors, your corrupt ancestors, that you're feeling guilty. And then suddenly you're going to wake up after the solar eclipse, and it's like, oh, I don't feel that guilt anymore. That's been driving me all my life. It's suddenly gone, right? So you got the Justice card, Major Arcana, Justice, right? So this is truth is revealed. This is karma coming into balance. This totally fits with the 50th shadow of corruption and the gift of harmony. And then you've got the Nine of Pentacles there, right? So this is self-sufficiency, it's self-reliance, it's financial independence. The Nine of Pentacles, this woman is fine on her own. Nine of Pentacles, she's fine. She doesn't have a codependent relationship to someone. She's not depending on someone for her money, right? So something's coming into balance about you being self-reliant with your money, right? Independent with your money, that you're okay with that. And the Nine of Pentacles is like the lower, there's the Empress, right? That's the divine feminine. And then the Nine of Pentacles is just under that, like it's a little lower of an octave of the Empress. So this is really good energy. It's feminine, right? Self-reliant, Nine of Pentacles. I'm taking care of myself, right? I'm loving myself. I'm taking care of myself financially. So somehow it's related to this 12th house for Sagittarius, sun, rising, or moon, right? Where maybe you've been punishing yourself unconsciously for corruption. It could be you in past lives too. Past lives being corrupt, being corrupted, and also your ancestors, right? Being corrupted. Yeah. when this is coming into balance. So the great thing is, with this, is you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is get out of your way. Get out of your own way. Get the ego out of the way. And heal. Right? Just have faith and healing. And the 12th house is all about faith. Right? It's all about faith. It's all about miracles. It's angel energy. Right? To not try to understand it and figure it all out and get the story. Your dreams will tell you the story, though. That's always just an added bonus. Have you noticed that? I do a lot of deep healing work in my dreams. And then that's the best way to do it. And then you wake up and it's gone. It's just gone. You know? Yeah. So it's around your finances, Sagittarius. That's what I see here. It's luxury, too. This is luxury. This isn't just getting by. This is like I'm enjoying my financial independence, right? I'm bringing material things that I really love and enjoy. And I haven't been because there's been some karmic imbalance, right? That's been going on, that's been following me in this lifetime. Well, it's coming into balance, and truth is revealed. Truth is revealed with the Justice card. Yeah. But I feel like you will know, but through your dream life, because this is truth revealed, right? The story is going to come up. Yeah. And that's how it works. The healing happens first, and then the story comes next. The insight comes next. Yeah. Okay. That's all I'm getting for Sagittarius. Okay. And let's go for the Scorpios, who are the star of the show. The Scorpios. Oh. I got to go back to Sagittarius because I just want to do an ego card for Sag. Just quickly. There we go. Guilt. What was I just saying? Right? This is totally synchronicity. Okay. So let's just finish the story with Sagittarius. Thank you for your patience, everybody. So we want to give Sagittarius the full meal deal here. So justice and guilt, they go hand in hand, don't they? So this is you've been punishing yourself around money, right? Affecting your financial independence, you know? So this is how it can work. Like unconsciously, we can punish ourselves. Whenever you got the guilt card, that's the ego. It's like you got to be punished. We can punish ourselves by self-sabotaging ourselves, self-sabotaging our money, like we don't deserve good things, right? Because I'm guilty. I need to be punished. Well, this solar eclipse is saying this is ending. It's coming into balance, right? So it's about forgiving yourself, Sagittarius, right? Even though you may not know. I don't know, because the 12th house is all like the house of mirrors. You can't see the truth in there, right? Just forgive yourself. Have that on your lips. I forgive myself for any harm that I've done to others. Yeah. Just maybe do a meditation or prayer. I've got letting go of the past meditation on my YouTube that you could do. Yeah. But yeah, it's time to let go of this ego that's saying that you're guilty, because balance is coming in and it's going to bring in finances for you. That's what I see. Okay. That totally fit with the story. Okay, now let's go to the star of the show for Scorpio. It's all happening in the first house for Scorpio rising sun or moon. The shadow of corruption is happening in your first house. So this is about, it's about your ego. It's about your sense of self. It's your identity, right? So letting go of any shadow of corruption around how you identify. So this could be your how do I identify in this social ladder of this hierarchy. Where's my identity here? Okay, let's just do some cards and we'll get the full story here. But it's big, right? It's your persona. And your self-node is in the first house too. So you're going through a huge identity shift right now as a Scorpio. Your physical appearance could be changing too as a Scorpio. Okay. Let's see here. Scorpio is feeling burdened. Scorpio's got the 10 of Wands right there. Look at that, eh? This is feeling overwhelmed. It's hard work, extra responsibility, completion. Feeling burdened by this old identity that the solar eclipse is going to take away from you. Right? Maybe you're taken because it's the 50th, right? The 50 right here. Coming off the spleen. That's the fear of taking on too much responsibility. So you may be taking on too much responsibility for others, Scorpio. Right? This old identity. That I'm responsible for everybody else. I'm getting burdened by it. So whoever you're responsible for, that you're feeling responsible for, is going to be taken away. Yeah. How you're approaching life. Maybe this is like an approach of life that I'm the responsible one. I'm always overwhelmed. I'm always attracting burdens in my life. It's just the way it is, right? That could be taken away with the solar eclipse. Okay, let's see what the ego is telling Scorpio. Sun, moon, or rising. What's Scorpio? What's the ego telling Scorpio? Let's see what the ego is telling Scorpio. It's telling it two things. Okay. That's interesting. I think the 32 is activated. Oh, interesting. Okay. So Scorpio, wherever you see the spleen there, there's all these gates, right? Each gate represents a fear on the spleen. So you got the failure, and that's the 32, which is next door to the 50, right there. That's being activated by Mercury right now. Well, it will be for the new moon. And that's the fear of failure right there. So thinking about fear of failure. So this is a belief that you're a failure. So that's what's driving this 10 of Wands. Right? Is like I have to take on all this extra burden to prove to others that I'm not a failure. And let's take it to the root. Let's go for the touchdown. Let's not be on the surface of life here. This is where it goes. Scorpio, you as a tiny tot, right? 0 to 7 years old, that you believe that you're a failure. Right? So failure is like shame. You can feel shame coming up, fear coming up, right? Grief coming up, maybe anger too, right? But this is compensating, right? The 10 of Wands is compensating for this fear. This is the fear that's driving you taking on all this extra responsibility. Yeah. And the failure is coming from your ancestors, from your family and your ancestors. So reflect on that. Like what? Maybe I feel like a failure because it's your first. This is you, right? The first house is all about you. I feel like a failure because my body's not perfect, right? My appearance isn't perfect. I'm not attractive enough, you know? Yeah. So it can stop you from trying. And this so fits with the 50, doesn't it? The giving up. I'm resigned. I'm not the top of the hierarchy. I'm not the most attractive in the hierarchy, so I'm a failure. Maybe that was something valued in your family, was appearance. Yeah. And then you've got control. That's not a surprise for Scorpios. Scorpios can be known to be controlling. So this is controlling your emotions. It's trying to control these feelings of failure from coming up. And this is how you're controlling, by overworking. This is like a workaholic, right? I got to prove myself to other people. Yeah. So demanding control. So you can be controlling of yourself. Yeah. So this could totally be like an eating disorder or something like that. That would fit with this. Well, I can't control my body. I can't control the way that I'm perceived in life, but I can control the food that I put in my mouth or not put in my mouth, But it's really, this is what you're really avoiding, right? Is this the little child that never grows up, that wounded child that feels like a failure. So the thing is, you could go to therapy, and that therapist could tell you till the cows come home that you're not a failure, you're a success, and here's why. And it's talking to your mind, right? Where's the child? Child's not in your mind. The child's down here in the emotional body. That's who wants to hear it, right? And it's not going to be from the therapist. That child is not going to hear those words from the therapist. That child wants to hear that from you, Scorpio, that you're not a failure. And what does the child listen to? Is the love that's coming from your heart towards your little inner child, right? I know it sounds crazy, right? But this is how we evolve. That's how you do it. It's that easy. And then this disappears, Scorpio, right? This 10 of Wands. So the great thing about this solar eclipse, it's going to bring this up. It's going to bring how you control yourself and other people and try to control your environment. It's going to bring up these feelings of failure. It's going to bring up around the 10 of Wands and what you're using to avoid and control these feelings is going to be taken away. So whatever this 10 of Wands, this burden that you're carrying in your life, is going to be magically taken away so you can face the truth, right? Because the energy wants you to evolve and grow and transform. And of all the signs, Scorpio is all about transformation. Yeah, like huge transformation. Whatever's corrupt is being taken away from you. And this is corruption, that you're not a failure. You're still alive. That means you're not a failure. You're still breathing. This is all ego, right? This is the hierarchy. You're a success. You're a failure. You're a winner. You're a loser. That's all the hierarchy. It's all external. It has nothing to do with you in the soul. Yeah. Okay. What else? And the other thing that I want to say too is that it's a 10, so that means it's completion. 10 of Wands moves into the Ace of Wands, the new beginning. So this is good news for the Scorpios, right? So remember to have faith, right? That's the soul wants you to focus on this. Your spiritual advice is just to have faith. Have faith in the divine and what's leaving your life. Let go of control, right? Let go of control and let these feelings come up so they can finally move and transmute. Okay, that's for Scorpio. And then we are, where are we? Libra. The Librians. And that's the second house. So Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you've got the shadow of corruption, the solar eclipse in your second house. And this is all about your values. How you value yourself is going to go through a huge shift. It's also about your money and your finances too, the second house. But it's really about your sense of self-value. You're going to be coming into harmony, right? That's the gift of the 50th, harmony with this. And this, of course, will be reflected by your finances. Okay. Well, that's good. So you got the Six of Swords, Libra. You can see the speedboat. This is moving out. You're moving out of these rocky waters of not valuing yourself or having people not valuing you. And that's the thing. If you don't value yourself, then you're going to attract people in your life that don't value you. So it's a transition. So that's good news. So this is the solar eclipse will bring you into this, put you in the speedboat and move away from whatever psychological trip you're on about not valuing yourself, not thinking you're good enough, right? Let's see what the ego is telling you. In terms of the hierarchy too, right? Not valuing yourself. Maybe listening to the ego that you should be further up, making more money than your Libras. The nice Libras. The people-pleasing Libras got the revenge card. That's the ego. So so the ego right here wants revenge, right? So who made you feel like you had no value, right? This is, I've been wounded. The Librans are, I've been wounded in the past and I want to attack back. That's this. I want to get back at that person that made me feel like I had no value. So this energy of revenge, because you may say, what are you talking about, Michael? I'm such a nice Libra. I get along with everybody. Everybody loves me. I'm the Libra. I'm charming Libra, sociable Libra. I'm the relationship sign, right? Well, this energy of revenge, if it's not expressed, you can suppress it, but then it has to come out somehow, and it will come out with accidents or failures, losing money because it's in the second house, like losing money, investing in money in bad places, like going through money loss, financial loss, or illness even, like setbacks, general setbacks. Well, this is the revenge energy. So you got to dig this up. This is corruption. This is the shadow of corruption. I want to get back at somebody, right? I want to get back at that person that made me feel like I had no value. But the thing is that nobody makes you feel anything, right? That sense of the low self-value is just inside you, right? And you don't have to worry about people. Maybe somebody treated you like crap, you know? But that's none of your business about getting back at that person. Karma takes care of all that. Nobody gets away with anything on this planet. So it's saying to move away from this revenge, move away from this corruption. And this can be sudden, Libra, right? With this solar eclipse, right? It can be sudden. So just have faith that this is just going to heal. It's going to heal. It's going to take you away, whatever situation, and take you out of this energy of revenge. And then suddenly you'll just wake up and it's like, I don't feel that. I don't feel this revenge towards this person anymore because I had an emotional breakthrough, right? Had some kind of emotional breakthrough. This is what this solar eclipse too can bring up, these hidden emotions within us, right? Yeah. So what would I say about this? Is just to be open, because I feel like this is hidden. For Libras are really good at hiding stuff from themselves. It's just to be open. It's like, oh, I've got revenge. Right? All you have to do is just let it in. Revenge from somebody that hurt me in the past. You know? Yeah. Anyway, you're letting go of that. You're letting go of that energy. And you let go of this energy of revenge. That frees up a lot of energy for you in the second house, like attracting more money, attracting more sense of self-value, self-love for yourself, you know, for the Libras. Anything else? And not listen to the ego. If those thoughts come up, I've got to get back at that person. Yeah. Because the thing is, you end up suffering when you carry that energy. It ends up hurting you more than another person. Yeah. Okay, but you're moving on. That's what I see for the Libras. You're moving on. And it's going to affect your finances. Okay, so Virgo. 1, 2, 3. Virgo, the shadow of corruption is happening in your third house. In your third house. So this could be issues around a sibling. 1, 2, 3. A brother or sister. Or a neighbor. Someone in your general community. It could be even be a third house also rules small businesses too. But it's also your thinking. So there may be some corrupt thinking, a thinking pattern, corrupt thinking pattern that you have to let go of, Virgo. Like your mental activity. What are you thinking about? Is a corrupt kind of thinking. You know, maybe you're angry at the little g and the secret societies and the ruling elite. Right? Giving your power over to them. Let's see here. For the card. Because that's, you're just feeding that consciousness of corruption, you know, when you're railing against it. 2 cards here. You got the 2 of Wands. There's another one. That Aquarius got, right? Aquarius got this one too. And then the Ace of Cups. Right. So it's about future planning, making decisions for the 2 of Wands. And it's around relationships. Because this is a new beginning in love and creativity. With the Ace of Cups. So coming in harmony, your mind coming in harmony with your heart. That's what it is. Okay, the ego is going to finish off this story for us here. What's the ego telling Virgo? What's the ego telling Virgo? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Virgo got the revenge card too, just like Libra. Revenge is a theme. Whenever we get hurt, this comes up, the ego comes up. Anywhere we felt like we had no value, this ego will come back, right? Because the ego is all about hierarchy. That's what this 50 is about. It's all about hierarchy. I'm going to get back at that person. I should have said this. I should have done that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that next time I see them. I'm going to have the power. It's all about power, right? This 50. Shadow of corruption. But look what it's blocking. It's blocking the Ace of Cups for Virgo. It's blocking new love from coming in. And it's all about your thinking, Virgo. It's all about your mind. That's the problem here, is your thinking. So some kind of shift's going to happen with the solar eclipse. That's going to carve up some new neural pathways, get you off this thinking of revenge, right? Because it affects your body, right? It affects your body. Your thoughts affect your body. You'll notice that when you have negative thoughts and vengeful thoughts, you're going to feel more and more constricted. Your breathing won't be relaxed. You can't bring in the Ace of Cups unless you're in the feminine energy, which is receptive, and that means relaxed, right? Relaxed and calm, ready to receive. This is not receiving anything except negativity, right? Coming back at you. Yeah. So what I see here is just to be with the Two of Wands is just to be the future. This is about the past. Let the past go. Let the past go. And to watch your mind, Virgo. What am I thinking about right now? Who am I trying to get back at? This is going to affect your health. In the third house, that's your nervous system, right? Gemini is the ruler, traditional ruler. That's your nervous system. It's going to affect your nervous system, right? Anxiety, keep you up at night about this revenge. So like I said, the best way to deal with the ego is meditation is the best way. Not to listen to it, not to give it any attention, Well, your ego, stay in this space, this expanded state of awareness. That everybody's in God's hands. Nobody gets away with anything. This is God's business to get right to balance the karma out with this person, right? It's not your job. So that's what I say is you need to stay in this expanded state of awareness and not to listen to this. Just let the ego go. I'll get back at that person. How dare they? Just let them, they're having a little tantrum, like a little child. You just turn down the volume on it. Don't pay any attention to it. Because you want to let this love in. This is the future. This is what wants to reach you. But this is blocking. The ego is blocking you from reaching love because this is not the frequency of love right here. Right? This is the frequency of fear. Because the revenge is like, I can't let this ever happen to me again. I'm so hurt. Right? So go to the hurt, Virgo. Right? Go to the hurt. 0 to 7 years old. When somebody did hurt you. That's the original pain. That's what you have to feel. That's what you have to feel. And this ego is trying to block you from feeling. Block you from evolving. Right? Into the spirit awareness, unity consciousness. This is where we're being called to evolve. Going through the emotional body. The ego wants to stop you by keeping you in revenge, in cycles. And if you hold this, like this, these thoughts of revenge, you're going to be with that person next lifetime, and you'll work it out. And you don't work it out next lifetime, the next lifetime you'll work it out, right? Yeah. So let it go. This is about forgiveness. Just let it go, no matter how horrible it was. And you don't let it go until you feel that 0 to 7 year old. That's the original pain right here. That's the original pain. That's what I see there. And go to a sibling, Virgo, because it's in the third house. It's about your siblings. And this is creative thinking. This is the harmony, the gift of harmony, the 50th gift. I don't think I talked about this, but this brings in more creativity, right? Because it expands, it allows for authenticity to come in. It allows for creativity, the new to come in. Okay. That's for Virgo. I don't think there's anything else there. Okay. Where are we now? Leo the Lion. Leo the Lion. Lion, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Let's see what we got for the Leos. Okay. Leo. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth house for Leo. So big changes around your emotional foundation. It's a foundational house, your emotional foundation. Right away, it's like inner child. Some inner child wounds that are coming up that have been buried really, really deep. Right? So the thing with these wounds, Leo, is it can come out of the blue, come out of nowhere with the solar eclipse there. But just don't go into, Leos, the overall reading here, don't go into this Two of Swords energy, the back and forth, or the Ace of Swords. This is what not to focus on, is looking to figure it all out. Like, where's this coming from? I need the proof. I need receipts, right? It's just coming from the child, right? The child in us never grows up. This inner child, 0 to 7 years old, this wants to release. And this is what's going to bring peace. Like I said, peace doesn't come through the mind, right? It doesn't come through the mind. It comes through this, your emotions, your emotional body. When that inner child feels at peace, then you're going to feel at peace. If you're not feeling at peace, then the inner child's calling you. This is how we're evolving, through the emotional body. So that's what I would say there. And if your mother is alive, you may be going through some big shifts around your mother. Or passed on to the way you were mothered and nurtured as a child. Let's see what the ego's got. But it's about your emotions. You got to really listen to your emotions. And your emotions are going to be very intuitive during the solar eclipse. Okay. We got the Page of Swords. Okay, the Three of Cups. Okay, so you got the Page of Swords and the Three of Cups in the fourth house, corruption. So the Three of Cups is saying that you'll bring in friendship, because this emotions, the emotional body is actually it's attracting to you certain experiences. So say if you were a tiny tot, 0 to 7 years old, and one of your wounds was abandonment, Like you were abandoned as a child, you were neglected, emotionally neglected as a child. That's your wound, just hypothetical. Then your emotional body will attract those similar experiences as an adult, where you feel abandoned and alone and neglected. Well, the solar eclipse is saying this is coming in when you feel this, right? This child that felt abandoned and neglected. It's just about feeling the emotions. That's it. Because the solar eclipse will bring the emotions up, the buried emotions. And then the community, friendship comes. This is like celebration card. It's a reunion card. Right? Let's see what the ego is saying. Is to finally let that go, let that wound go. And that goes for everybody. This is how we're evolving, as we can't get focused on the physical details of what's happening in our life, especially when we're emotionally triggered, because we have to go to the emotional content. What feelings is it bringing up? What feelings is this experience bringing up for me? That's the work. That's the growth. And that shifts, right? That shifts your reality. Oh. Okay, so what's the ego? The ego does not want you running through that tunnel to the other side, right? The ego does not want you running through the other side, right there. And what's it telling you? So the emotions are going to come up. They'll start releasing because it's your fourth house. Inner child stuff, buried emotions for your healing so that you can face them, you can feel them. And the ego comes in with defensiveness. This is the walls are up. So this is, the ego is saying there's nobody. This is how you guarded yourself as a tiny tot, right? This is how you guard it yourself. So 0 to 7 is the wound, right? 0 to 7 is the wound. That's the original wound. This is the pathway of awareness that we're moving through, Leo. Right? And then 8 to 14, this is the mental body starts to develop. And this is when we develop our beliefs about the world, but also the way of protecting that wound, how that mind suppresses the wound. And one of the ways is defensiveness. There's 6 ways it can do it, but the card is saying here is defensiveness. So this is the mind. So the wound's coming up, right, to be felt, and then the ego is right there convincing you that everybody's against you. There's no 3 of Cups for you, Leo. No 3 of Cups for you, right? So it convinces you that everyone's against you, and don't trust anybody that comes too close, right? And you use the defensiveness with your intellect, right? With your intellect, and it's all about keeping people away, because you were hurt, right? And that's 0 to 7 years old, because you were hurt right there. So this is the ego, right? Keep people away. Lash out at them before they hurt you, kind of things. So this is arguing with people, needing to be right, turning it on them, like being an expert in argument, right? It's just all about keeping you away from this, keeping you away from your feelings, keeping your heart shut down, right? This is what you learned as a child, right? This is what you learned as a child, to keep that heart closed. You learned this as a child. This is a defense mechanism of the mind. So it's the turnaround. You know, the turnaround, you turn the argument on the other person. And it's all about the root of it. Don't get too close to me because I don't want to feel this pain, you know? So this is the ego keeping you away from this 3 of Cups. Like friendship, right? Opening your heart to other people. It's emotional growth. Yeah. So the Page of Swords is here too. And this is about being curious. It's gathering information. The Page of Swords gathers information. So just to watch yourself, that's what I would say to the Leos. Because this is corrupt. This is corruption energy. Is getting defensive. Putting a wall up between you and other people. Between you and friends. You know? I don't trust that person. They're getting too close. They're getting too in. I don't want to feel this pain. Well, spy on yourself. This is a spying card, but spy on yourself. This means, Leo, to get into this state of consciousness, right? Expanding past the ego and the mind to the greater self. This is through meditation that we get in the gap, I call it, where you're able to see your patterns. You can spy on your patterns. Oh, look what I do. I got really defensive with that person, right? And then it's like, oh, it's because I didn't want them to get too close to me. You know, I'm closing myself down. And the thing is, you just become aware of these patterns. That's half the battle. It's, oh, I'm aware of these patterns, what I'm doing. And then that allows a space for the feelings to come up, right? Then you're allowing the feelings to come up. So I really feel, Leo, you're being supported just with this Three of Cups energy to come into harmony, to let people in again. Yeah. And it's your deepest, it's very internal, right? The fourth house. It's very internal. Yeah. But something's going to happen. It's going to start releasing. That's what I would say. To just be aware of that. Like some deep emotions are going to start releasing. And to watch yourself getting defensive, not listening to the ego. That's getting all suspicious and I don't trust them. It's like, just feel. That's all I'm saying is feel. Feel and get to the other side. Get to the other side, which is to feel. Right? Get to spirit awareness, that expanded state of awareness. Yeah. And even when you're communicating with people, make sure that you stay in your heart. You can do that, like bringing your awareness to my heart. I'm just not going to be in my head when I communicate with this person. I'm going to stay in my heart. I'm going to feel that person. You can be in both at once. You can be the words, forming words, communicating, but also to stay in your heart at the same time. Yeah. Anything else there? I think that's it. That's exciting for the Leos. It's very exciting for the Leos. Your emotions are going to be really, really strong. I think I said that before, that Leos are going to be really impacted by this solar eclipse. Okay. It's 444. Look at that. In my neck of the woods. Okay. Let's go for the Cancer. Speaking of emotions. The Cancers. Cancer's the crab. And you're in the 5th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're in the 5th house. Okay. So this is letting go of a romantic partner in the 5th house. Could be a live-in person for Cancer. To allow someone new, a new romantic partner to come in. And this old one is corrupt, which means they're not aligned with where you're headed on your soul's journey, your soul's destiny. Could be an upgrade too if you're an artist, because it's the creative house. Or if you have children too. That could be something that happens with your children. A quantum leap. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's do some more cards. You got the Narcissist. The Narcissism card there. So you may be dealing with a narcissist. Cancer. Rising sun or moon. And so this is the ultimate in the ego disease. It's narcissism is ego. Maybe you're done with that dynamic. Maybe you've had a pattern of romantic partners. It's been one narcissist after another. Maybe you're done with the Cancer. With the solar eclipse. It's not aligned with where you're going anymore. You're done. You've learned your lessons with narcissists. Which is really to love yourself. That's what the true lesson that the empath has to learn with the narcissist is to love themselves and to set boundaries. And that you can't save anybody, right? Like the overall reading, Cancer, right? Where is it there? What not to do, not to be the white knight. That you can't save everybody. You can't save the narcissist. Only life can heal the narcissist. Nobody can heal the narcissist. Because the narcissist believes there's nothing wrong with them, right? They're so identified with the ego. Right? The narcissist is totally channeling that voice in its head. That's the ego. So that's the corruption that's leaving. That's good news. Okay. And again, it goes back to childhood, Cancer. Right? Having a narcissistic mother or father. Wanting to heal them. This one wanted to flip out. So it's the High Priestess. This is Major Arcana energy. So this is listening to your intuition, your inner guidance, trusting yourself, and secrets revealing. This is about secrets being revealed to you. Right? So this could be a romantic partner, you get to realize that they actually have narcissistic traits, right? And so trusting your intuition. One technique of the narcissist is the gaslighting, right? Making you question your own intuition, making you doubt yourself, making you feel it's crazy making. It's the crazy making energy. Well, this card is saying that you're going to go deeper and deeper into your intuition's going to be so loud and clear, right, with the solar eclipse, that you're going to see these. And you may even see, like, let's take it back to you, because it's the mirror, right? That it may show you some narcissistic traits that you have in yourself. We all have this, because we all have an ego, right? Yeah. And this sense of entitlement, right? That's the narcissist. Right? I'm the little princess. You got to do everything for me. And it's deeply insecure because the narcissist has such a fear of losing their ego identity. So you want to go deep into your High Priestess energy, which is to be in this expanded state of awareness and listening, right? The solar eclipse is going to be loud and clear, like with his messages. And how it's going to affect you is it's going to affect your creativity, right? Because it's the 5th house, and it's the 5th house of romance. The 5th house of romance. So we'll open that up for you, and bring you more into harmony. So I really feel like it's going to get rid of this, the person in your life that's representing this narcissist, any narcissistic corruption that you have inside you, it's going to go with the solar eclipse. And it's going to bring forward this intuition. It's like getting an upgrade in your spiritual development, That's what I see for Cancer. Corruption, harmony. Yeah. Okay. That's what I got there. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. We are at Gemini. Gemini. And that's the 6th house for Gemini. So that's around your work. So Gemini, rising, moon, or sun. That's around your work, the shadow of corruption in your workplace. So you could be losing work if you're self-employed, like losing some work, or actually changing jobs. I mean, the solar eclipse may say it's time for you to do different kinds of work, Gemini. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. Maybe you've been hemming and hawing with this 2 of Swords back and forth with this overall reading, right? 2 of Swords. Indecisive. The Geminis are like that anyway, right? The twins, back and forth. Should I or shouldn't I? Needing mental clarity before you make a decision about your work. It's also about your health too. You may be being called to make some changes in your health. Well, the solar eclipse is going to show you where the changes need to be made, right? Takes away so it can bring in new. Could be pets too. You could be losing a pet or gaining a pet. So be aware of that too. And remember, with any loss and death, how we honor is to open up our hearts, right? That's the point, is to get to that grief, right? That's the best thing you can do for someone who's passed on to the other side, is to feel the grief. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So you got the King of Pentacles for Gemini in the 6th house. So the King of Pentacles, he's self-employed. King of Pentacles. He don't work for nobody. King of Pentacles. So maybe you're being called to put out your shingle, you know, to be an entrepreneur. So the King of Pentacles not only takes care of himself, he takes care of other people too, right? He's got employees. I don't know, maybe you're a boss already and you're stepping up. Right, corruption is that energy it's not aligned with you and your values, especially now, right? You're growing and evolving. What's the ego saying to Gemini? Mm-hmm. So this is the leader. The King of Pentacles is the leader in business and in wealth. Oh, I forget who else got this. Scorpio, right? Failure. So the ego is telling you failure, and maybe you do want to become an entrepreneur, Gemini, but you got this fear of failure, and that's what the ego is telling you. And this is corruption, right? It's not energy that's aligned with your authenticity. So this is a belief that you're a failure, and the failure is coming from your family, Gemini, right? All goes back here, where you felt like you were a failure as a child because you didn't live up to the expectations of your parents. So this failure is coming from your family and ancestors. And you see the 32, the solar eclipse is in the 50 right there. Each one of these represents a fear. And the 32 is the fear of failure. And Mercury is activating that for the new moon. Right, that's the fear of failure, 32.3. About making changes, right? The third line's all about making changes. So it says to me that you've got to face this, right? But look what's on the other side is the King of Pentacles energy. That's you. The King of Pentacles does not have this fear of failure. It may have come up But the King of Pentacles surpassed it because he believes in himself, right? He believes in his abilities and in the divine, especially if you're aligned with your soul purpose, right? We each have a different relationship with prosperity, and it depends on our destiny. Some of us need lots and lots and lots of money because we're the King of Pentacles and other people depend on us, right? Employees and stuff. Some of us don't need a lot, right? We just need enough to get by, and that's fine for us. It depends on this is all in your chart too, right? Your relationship with prosperity. So I would say don't stop this from making these changes. Don't cling onto the old. If you're losing a job and you can feel the energy leaving, right, with the solar eclipse, then let it go, because something else, something better is coming towards you. Yeah. Because this will stop you from even trying, right? And feeling victimized by the system. Well, how is this going to work with the system? The system's coming down. We can't let the system as it is right now stop us from moving forward, you know? Because we don't know what it's going to look like. It's changing so fast, you know, because we're changing so fast now. What else did I want to say about that? I feel like it's around your work. Because it's just the King of Pentacles there, yeah. Just trust where the energy's taking you during this eclipse season. This is life-changing. This is a life-changing time period right now for all of us. We'll look back and we'll go like, oh, thank God that happened. You know, I'm so grateful even in my own life for the things that I didn't get. You know what? The things that I really wanted. It's like, thank God I didn't get that. You know, it wasn't for me. I can see it now. But when you're in the middle of it and you can't see the future, what's coming, you know, you can get attached. And so don't let that fear of failure go. Feel it. Feel those feelings. Feel those emotions coming up. This is very emotional, the solar eclipse. And then this will alleviate this fear of failure because it's ancestral too. Okay. Where are we now? Taurus. Taurus the bull. Sun, moon are rising. Taurus. Of course, the shadow of corruption is in your 7th house. And that's relationships. That's marriage. Okay, let's do some cards here. So this could be a past relationship that you've outgrown. It's no longer aligned with you. Solar eclipse taking that away from you. And or bringing in a new person that's aligned with your soul's destiny. So remember, before we incarnated, we signed soul contracts together, you know? We have soul contracts with people, certain souls in this lifetime. So that the corruption would keep us away from those soul contracts. Because it's the contract house, right? The 7th house is the contract house. Okay. And we're getting rid of that corruption energy that's keeping you from your divine counterpart, right? The 7th house. Okay. And we'll see what that looks like with the cards. That's too many. Okay. Okay, Taurus. What do you got for Taurus here? What do you got for Taurus? Okay. So you got the Seven of Wands right there. Seven of Wands. See the big castle? Right? The walls. It's the wall. So defensive, closed off. That's what the ego is telling you. And what are you closing yourself off to? Love. What are you closing yourself off to? Yourself. Your higher self. And let's see what the ego is saying. That's kind of an ego card in itself. The ego's giving Taurus 2 cards. Right? Yeah. Oh, 3 cards. Okay. Okay, let's see this. Thirsty today. Okay, so 7 of Wands. And then you got the Gaslight Yourself card. The ego, 3 of them jumped out here. The Gaslight Yourself card right there. And that means talking yourself out of your feelings, right? So feelings are coming up. It's relationships. So your feelings are coming up for a certain person. And then the ego is saying, that's not real. Those feelings aren't real. I'm going to talk you out of your feel. You're in some kind of fantasy. That's not real, right? And then if you're in a situation, you're in a situation that's you're not happy, you're not emotionally fulfilled, then the ego comes in. This is how we talk ourselves out of our, well, it's not that bad. I don't really want that. I don't want love. I don't want a partnership. I'm happy with work and my life as it is. And it's lying to yourself. This is corruption. Lying to yourself when clearly your feelings, your emotions, you can't talk yourself out of, that's what's real. That's what I'm trying to say is your emotions are what's real, not your mind. So your mind's trying to talk you out of this guidance that's directing you to a person. So you want to honor your feelings, not listen to the ego, right? And then you got people pleaser right here, more corruption. And this is telling people what they want to hear. Seeking love from the wrong people. Being manipulative, the people pleaser. It's perfect for that because of the people pleasers, Libra. And Libra is the traditional ruler of the 7th house, what your solar eclipse is in. So people, and then you got the sex trap right there. The sex trap. And this is seeing ourselves and other people as an object, not spiritual beings having human experiences, using sex to inflate the ego, choosing bad partners, right? Choosing out of lust and not from the soul. So the thing with lust isn't a bad thing. It's a natural biological urge is lust. But what lust is it's a mixture of fear. That's why it's lustful, right? It's a mixture of fear and desire. So what you want to do, this is the sex trap with the ego, because it's a way to keep out of your heart, isn't it? Well, I just see that person as an object. They don't mean anything to me. It's just it's a sexual, physical release for me, right? You're not invested. You don't emotionally invest in a person. Well, you want it to transmute into passion, right? That's passion. So that's lust, right? That's natural. But there's no fear in there. It's lust and love. And when those two join together, that's passion. That's spiritual passion. That's tantra, right? It's a spiritual path in itself. Our true sexuality, right? Transmutes out of fear, and then it moves into love. And that's true union with another person, right? It's like merging your souls together. That's tantric sex. Okay. God's really given me some doozies here. So let's bring it all together with corruption. All these are corruption. So this is about just being yourself. Being yourself, your authentic self, not being someone you think that other person wants you to be, like some sexy sex object, right? Just a body. Some people want that. That's not what you want, Taurus, right? Because Taurus values themselves. We're here because I'm a Taurus sun, teaching people to value themselves, but to value their physicality. And it's a very sexual sign too, Taurus, so is Scorpio. But it comes from self-value, you know? Where was I going with this? So this is about being defensive, like getting into the sex trap. This is a way of you corrupting yourself and keeping the wall up. I'm just going to relate to this person with my genitals. I'm not going to relate to this person with my heart. You know, that's the wall. You don't want to be listening to this. This is the corruption, right? I'm just going to be somebody they want me to be. I'm just going to tell them what they want to hear, right? I'm outside of myself, also corruption. I'm not centered in myself. And then the biggest one is gaslighting yourself, ignoring your heart, where your heart is pulling you to, right? Because these ones are going to bring you to the wrong partner. So with the solar eclipse here, it's going to take away this dynamic here, right? This old dynamic of people pleasing, seeing people as sexual objects, seeing yourself as a sexual object, being defensive, talking yourself out of your feelings. That's going, right? It's for the solar plexus. So solar eclipse. That's coming in the 7th house. Yeah. So, what else do I want to say about that? Harmony, hierarchy. Yeah. And not choosing your partner out of some hierarchy, because the ego wants hierarchy. My partner has to be of this status and look like this, and do this for a living, make this much money, drive this kind of car. To let your heart choose. That's what it's saying right here. It's let your heart choose. Let your feelings choose, right? And let go of all of this. All this is conditioning, right? From our mainstream media and our family, and it's all conditioning. It's not real. It's corruption. Anything else for Taurus? Just that you're a spiritual being having human experiences, and you're here to enjoy the earth. That's what I want to say for Taurus. Here to enjoy the 5 senses and all the fruits of the earth. That's what Taurus is here to teach people, and to value themselves. And that we can have sex and spirituality. These two have always been oil and water, you know? There's so much guilt around sexuality in the spiritual community because we don't know what it is. All we see is this out in the world, the sex trap, right? The lust. We don't see the greater beauty of it, you know, because religion's done such a trip on us. Yeah. Okay. This makes me smile for some reason. Yeah. Okay, let's finish it off, right? We finish it off. So that's what I got for Taurus. Is Aries. Always the first, but the last here. So Aries is in the 8th house, right? Okay. In the 8th house. Heavy, heavy, heavy for you. This is also marriage, Aries, but it's about merging your finances together. It's other people's money. So there can be some corruption here around clinging to a partner. Because remember, we got the White Knight in the overall reading, right? Where is it? We got the White Knight, right? Not to rely on a savior to come and save us. Maybe you're the one saving the other person in the 8th house. Well, this is liberating you from whatever bondage, because the 8th house can be very like bondage, you know, and enslaved to this person. It's deep, like deep obsessions and jealousies and envy and all that corrupt energy that the solar eclipse wants to release you from. Okay. Let's see what we got here. It's very transformational, the 8th house. So this is a big one for Aries, to just have it in this position. It's around money, though, inheritances. Okay, what do we got for Aries? Oh, just like Cancer, you got the High Priestess, which fits with the 8th house because it's very intuitive, this house. It's psychic. It's the psychic house. And it's letting go of deep, deep subconscious patterns that have been holding you back. It's about power. So any places where you feel powerless in your life, Aries, again, it's going to be around money. Possibly a marriage partner. Okay. So Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's the ego telling Aries? What's the ego telling Aries? What's that one? This is the 3rd time we got this one. The know-it-all. Aries is saying, no, I know it all. It doesn't sound like Aries to me. I know everything. Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So I know it all is the ego. This is the voice in your head that you believe is you that's saying you know everything. But it's if you identify with the ego, then it's I. You'll say, I know everything. I refuse to listen to any intuitive guidance, any support from the external, right? And just because it's in the 8th house, maybe there are people that are coming to you, that will be coming to you, that are here to support you financially, but you've got your hand up. You're not you're refusing the support, right? You're refusing any help, any support, because 8th house is about merging. It's merging. Aries don't like merging. Aries, they're their own, the ram, right? They represent the ego. Out of all the zodiac signs is the Aries. They're instinctive, right? They're instinctive. So this is a refusal. That's what I say. This is what's going. There's a refusal. So no room for guidance with this. The ego won't let you receive any information. It's like yammering in your head, and you think those thoughts are yours. Don't listen to that person. They don't know anything, right? They don't know anything about money. They're not here to support you. You're listening to this guidance. And what the card is telling you here is to listen to your intuition. And it's in the 8th house, so you're going to have huge intuitive downloads, but you're going to start releasing some deep pain that's keeping you from this space, right? That's keeping you under the control of this ego. That's what I see here. So it's about listening to your intuition, trusting yourself, and the secrets will be revealed with the High Priestess, right? She's like the subconscious mind is behind her. She's perfect for the 8th house for you. Yeah. So this is about trusting yourself, opening your mind, right? Releasing that I don't know everything. I don't know anything. I know that I don't know. I love that mantra. And then let these secrets be revealed, right? These go very, 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 very deep with the eighth house. This is the occult. It's metaphysical, right? And it's shame. It's like letting the shame surface, Aries. And so, like I say, go to that 0 to 7 years old. That's what needs to be released and felt, those emotions. So lots of secrets revealed with the eighth house. And this may get you to the high priestess, may lead you to something new, like astrology. The eighth house rules astrology, or shamanism, some occult mystery, some kind of mystery you'll be led to. So let go of this ego that I know everything already. There's nothing left for me to learn. This is BS, and it's keeping you from this, like secret knowledge. And the thing is, if you've spent past lives, because this is past lives too, as like a high priestess, like past life, maybe in Egypt, memories might start to emerge. Memories start to emerge, but memories of this knowledge starts to surface too for you, right? This hidden knowledge. Because spirituality, it's not really taught, it's caught. Spirituality is caught. So we're remembering, that's what spirituality is. We're remembering what we already know. It's in our bones, it's in the cells of our being. Yeah. So that's what I would say here. This is corruption right here. Right here is corruption, is that I know everything. Listening to the ego, I know everything. And it's cutting you off from your deeper knowledge that's there. That's what the high priestess is saying. Yeah. But some deep shadow work too. Doing some deep, deep shadow work with this high priestess. So this could set you off for a 6-month journey, Aries, of this deep, deep shadow work and releasing these old programs that have been running you. Yeah. Okay. So that is Aries. And that's everybody, right? We started off with Pisces. Okay. And I think everybody's just been flapping. Who came in and gave me a thumbs down? It's good I didn't get the revenge card. I think that's funny. Okay. We got some scammers here. It's just okay. It's just you guys talking. Okay. Mars and Gemini. Do you have that, Medicina? Mars and Gemini? Because it's going retrograde soon in Gemini. Okay. Joy. Okay. I think I saw everybody. Yeah, it is. Aries is get out of my way. I know it all. I'm the ram. I'm the ram. There was one astrologer that said that he felt sorry for all the Aries. So judgmental towards the Aries. I feel so sorry for them. And he's so nasty doing their readings. But every sign has its light and shadow. It all starts with Aries, right? I appreciate Aries. They're the pioneers. My midheaven's in Aries. Okay. So that's what I got for that. And I'll let you know about a human design live stream. We'll see how it's going there. But we've got until Tuesday, right? It's the solar eclipse in if you're like me, you're probably feeling the energy already. I'm feeling it. This eclipse energy. It feels like there's something going to happen. There's something going to happen, and I'm just staying calm and trusting and keeping my faith that it's going to lead me to something that's my soul's destiny. And life keeps getting better and better and better and better. You got to remember that. Okay? So thank you for everybody who stuck for the long haul, and I'll see you in the next video. So have a great evening or morning or wherever you are in the world. Okay? Okay, Sat Nam Aloha, everyone. Bye-bye.